That's what I call a high quality intro. I don't know, I tried my best and it took me like an hour, so if you can just appreciate the glory of that, what is it, like 5 second clip, I would appreciate that, thank you. But yeah, I said I'd make a full length video about some other stuff I was talking about. I might make a longer video about the Nintendo stuff, just because it's been on my mind a lot, and I think I think I have enough to say about it. So I figured I'd start with like the first thing I talked about, which was like the Obi-Wan show, because it sucked and it was just disappointing. But yeah. Alright, so it's my humble opinion that the Obi-Wan show is flawed from like the very concept. I don't mean that it's a bad idea to make a show about Obi-Wan after like episode 3, but then, you know, before he is a master for Luke, I guess. The idea is actually pretty good, but they kind of messed it up. I mean, it has like endless potential, because like they just kind of ruin it by, I don't know, just throwing in all this other stuff that just, it doesn't feel right. Like the show feels more like they just kind of named it the Obi-Wan show so people would watch it, you know, instead of making like a genuine show about Obi-Wan. And, you know, it's fine if they want to make new characters and like spin-off stuff, I guess. Not spin-off, but like, you know, I mean, I think the Inquisitors are cool, and if they want to expand stuff about the Inquisitors, then that's cool. And heck, I even think it's cool that they have the Inquisitors, you know, in the show. That's cool, and that makes sense. The Inquisitors are made to track the Jedi that survived Order 66. But why make the entire show revolve around one of the Inquisitors? Like, even, you know, the animation series, like, they kind of introduced the whole Inquisitor thing, Rebels. It didn't do that. You know, the main villain for the first couple of seasons was, well, maybe just the first season, I don't remember. But yeah, the main villain for that was just the Grand Inquisitor. So it doesn't really make sense, I guess, to make kind of like half the show just about what is it? I think she's the third sister, Riva or something. It doesn't make sense to make half the show about her. Not to say again that I don't want a show about Inquisitors. That's a cool idea. It's cool to expand upon that, because I mean, like, while Rebels like did introduce Inquisitors, they didn't really do anything with them except for, you know, just have them as the villain, which is fine. But like, if you want to do more with Inquisitors, then just make them their own show. Or at least, you know, have them be the actual bad guy for the show. And by this, I mean, like, they just kind of, I mean, she turns into like a good guy by the end, which, I mean, you know, it's okay for her to do that. That's like a character arc, but again, she's not supposed to be like the main character. It's called the Obi-Wan show, and like another thing is it doesn't make sense. She just kind of turns good. I'm trying to think of a way I can explain it if you haven't seen the show. So she spends the whole show evil, like very evil, and I think, you know, at first they even did a decent job of making her a villain. I mean, she comes off as a little annoying, a little like pretentious, and a little just kind of weird. And I think part of that is, honestly, the actor, she's fine, but she's not really the best, and they definitely did not give her the best directions.
Moses Ingram, I'm sure, is like we said before, you guys have seen her in other stuff. She's a good actress. But what they're giving her to do here is so bad. And the writing is so bad for this. And so when you combine bad writing with a child actor, with a bad character, or a person who's not really giving a compelling performance as Riva, it's kind of like a perfect storm of just a terrible scene.
Like, it just comes off as a little awkward sometimes. But At first, it feels like they're trying to make her into a good villain, but then she just kind of flip-flops and it's like, oh, she was, by the end, she, like, has a full resolution and is a good guy now. And then, after all that, you remember, like, wait, this is supposed to be a show about Obi-Wan. It's just, it's messy. But if you're gonna make the show about her, then just, I don't know, I think the best course would just to make a different show. Just when you're talking about an Obi-Wan show, and yeah, I'm kind of nerding out about Star Wars here, I don't really care, it's 2:45 in the morning, and it's not been the best night. When you're making a Obi-Wan show, you know, this is, like, I'm expecting to see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, a bit of Obi-Wan and Luke, heck, even Obi-Wan and Leia. You know, I don't think it makes a ton of sense that they did that, because now in A New Hope that means that they're just friends, I guess. But, you know, whatever. I guess. But, like, I'm thinking Obi-Wan and Vader. And then, you know, maybe some flashback scenes. They did like one flashback. They should have done way more. I mean, it's just, that's kind of the whole premise here. And I wrote a whole script for this, and I just have been ignoring it. I'm not going to read the script, that's boring. It's so much wasted potential. It's sad, it really is. Like, I can see so many different directions this show could have taken for it to work out. You know, there's a clip out there, I'll insert as much of it as I can, I guess right here.
I'll contact Ahsoka. Maybe she can...
Anakin?
Forget about it. She's gone.
Anakin, do you want to talk about it?
What's there to talk about?
Nothing, I suppose. Perhaps we should set up camp. Sound like a plan?
Whatever you say, Master.
Anakin, dwelling on Ahsoka's decision won't bring her back.
I miss her, okay? Is that what you wanted me to say? I still can't understand how she could have left the Order.
It was a surprise decision to all of us.
It was wrong. She's a Jedi. She belongs with us. She's one of us.
She made the decision, Anakin.
It's a clip, and it's like a dialogue that was cut from the Clone Wars after, well, spoilers if you're watching the Clone Wars or want to watch it or something. 3, 2, 1, go. It's like Ahsoka leaves the Order. If you've seen the Clone Wars, you already know that, but if you haven't or you just don't care, yeah, Ahsoka's the orange one, by the way, if you don't care about Star Wars. She leaves the Order at like the end of season 5, and that's, for a while that was the finale for the show, cause then it got cancelled because Disney bought out Star Wars, and then it got renewed by Netflix, and then like 7 years after that, it got finished by Disney Plus. It's a mess. But yeah, that was for a while the season finale for the show. And that was interesting. But for, I think it was season 6 or maybe season 7, there's like scrap dialogue about Obi-Wan and Anakin talking about that. And, you know, it's pretty apparent that Disney wants to do more with Ahsoka, with how much they've been bringing her into The Mandalorian, and just, like, even, you know, she's getting her own show, etc. And so that would have been a perfect tie-in. Like, that would have made sense, and it would have been cool. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I want to see flashbacks. Because that's something that they need to push harder. They need to push, you know, not just like the friendship, like the brotherhood between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Because every time they do that, if you go back and rewatch episode 3, it makes the end of that movie so much more impactful. But instead, they just made the show about Reva and Leia. But, you know, it's the Obi-Wan show. He's just in it a little bit, and they really dumb him down for no reason, you know, in its own show. Because, I guess, why not? I don't know. It's sad. But, I mean, hey, you know, Andor's not looking too bad. I mean, I'm not saying Andor's the best, but it's certainly not bad. Like, it's got a pretty interesting story, it's got interesting characters, and I don't know, I'm just curious to see where it goes, and that's something they haven't done recently. And I guess the main thing I want, or the main thing I'm afraid of, is them turning Star Wars into Marvel. You know, because Marvel is a lost cause at this point. She-Hulk is just, I've jumped ship on Marvel, and that most of that comes from She-Hulk. It also comes from just how mediocre it's been lately, and just now utter burnout. And I really hate how they treat their, CGI artists like poorly. That sucks. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that about wraps it up. I don't have much else to say. It's disappointing, I guess. Again, I made a whole script for all of that, and I didn't even read it. I guess I should keep that in mind for the future. But yeah, see you all next time. Bye bye.